Yeah, uh, Danny encouraged me. He said that my English is not as bad. Thank you for that. Uh, it reminded me a joke how about one Russian professor who went to conference to England, and he was a speaker here. He was invited to tell some article about some scientific whatever stuff, and when he was preparing hard and learning English, so he wanted everyone to understand, obviously. And when he finished his speech, it was loads of applause, and one local scientist after in the after party he came and said, "Thank you very much for participating and for reading us your article." But the most surprising was for me that I never knew that the Russian language is so similar to English. So the same, perhaps. Yeah. Part two. I'll tell the brief story about drag racing in our country. And I started circa 2000. It's quite new sport, but it developed very quick in 10 years time. And the main the main breakthrough was when people who started the sport, they started very young, as most of us, and by 2010 most of them were already grown up business guys, etc., and they could afford the drug slick. Before that, there was the main technical field of sport was all-wheel drive cars. Because of absence of proper racetracks, people found that it's a lot better launching thing on tarmac is when the car has all four wheels driven. But the problem was that the all-wheel drive transmissions were not strong enough to handle the power, and then when we saw that people who coming say to Estonia from Finland, bringing this large displacement American cars on the drag slicks, they launch even better. And it was surprising for us to begin with, and we didn't how they do it, and and we started to learn how to use the drag slick, and then everything changed, because all-wheel drive cars, they cannot really run. They can, but it's dangerous to run a soft-sided tire because the transfer case drives front and rear wheels at the same speed, and with the soft side tires, the radius of a wheel changes during a run, and the axles start to fight each other. That makes car run all possible ways on the track, and makes it unpredictable, unstable, and dangerous. There are still places like in East where people work a lot on all-wheel drive cars, believing that this is sort of advantage. But it's not. It's not. 60 foots and availability of parts that can hold the torque is a lot better on a rear-wheel drive combinations. But still, since we run on a dusty fields, sometimes after particular weather conditions, we come on a track and we are surprised that it's very grippy, and we know then that it's gonna be tough race because the car will stay straight and you can tune the engine to land more power. You can land more power on the track, right? And sometimes even tracks who we believe are fairly good appear to be slippery, and we have to detune car to run straight, right? And this is how we race now. From 2010 to 2015, or maybe even to 2016, there was a golden time in Lithuania for drag racing, and because all this development, it gave a result. We got fans and organizer who managed to at least not to bankrupt himself on making events, and but then there came what you call public liability from Europe, all this insurance stuff, and we changed the safety regulations to Europeans. That made things a lot more expensive. So the field split. It split into outlaws who had old cages and uncertified, improvised cars, and they didn't want to upgrade, so they withdraw from racing, or they were looking for to races that are not licensed to run as championships, and those who kept developing regardless and implementing these safety measures into their cars, and so it was little gap. Alright, and then pandemics came. Then these are 2 years of actually nothing happening except street cars racing, small events, not made to have spectator, like a club racing. It still has a championship status, but I mean now it's a little bit downhill for sport. Well, we keep working and hoping that we have a chance this year to test the cars. In Estonia, I saw people testing. Maybe they were not that bad with the pandemic numbers. I don't know. In Russia it's happening, but for us Russia is a little bit difficult because of political stuff and all these customs troubles, and I mean large distances. For us to go to Moscow is like 1,000 kilometers, more than that. And then all this border stuff, is really ridiculous. Ukraine is a lot better. They have very good organizers and huge events, a lot of cars. This is a large country. Ukraine is somewhat 60 million-ish, while Lithuania is less than 3 million total. So I don't know if you know, we are Baltic states. We are 3 countries, small countries at the eastern Baltic Sea coast, and we in between. Above us is the Finland, below Poland there is Belarus and Ukraine and Russia in the east. My dream is to come to Sweden. It's not far away, it's just overnight ferry trip, and I have a lot of memories from Sweden because I was traveling a little bit with Knut, if you remember the guy, and then I visited various racetracks. Like, I never been to Mantorp, but I've been to Tirp, never been, but I've been to Mantorp, I've been to Sundsvall, even Gardermoen in Norway. Right, and I really liked the Swedish field. There's a lot of culture and a lot of history in there. I always trying to convince people to go there, especially those who got like bigger cars. And I told them that you have parts, you have service, and people will look friendly at you because they know you are same stupid as they are, Yeah. So this is it basically. I don't know what else would you like to hear from me in English. If talking about myself, right? I'm a nostalgia guy. I mean, nostalgia cars I fancy most, and I'm more like center seater dragster funny car guy rather than door slammer. This is mainly because budget, right? Because door slammers, they are a lot more complex, and I like simplicity. I really admire old fuel Volteds and front engine dragsters. But I have someone to blame for that. This is mainly because when I was introduced closely to drag racing in UK by guys like Bill Felsted and John Hall, Charlie Draper, etc., who are drag racing oldies. And it never changed. I was working on various cars. They look good, those slammers, but still, I'm a dragster guy myself. Yeah, miss Santapot a lot. I miss Santapot very much. I hope, if not this year, maybe next year, I try to organize a visit. Yeah. So, basically, thanks for listening.